I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
What's up, everybody? I'm Fu.
And I'm Main One, and we're Unplug Free Your Mind, a show where we discuss and share our perspectives on an array of topics and world news from an unfiltered, unbiased, and unplugged point of view.
Everybody, I am beyond excited about tonight's show. We're going to start probably within like the next 5 minutes. I'm going to give y'all my little breakdown of how I always do what's going on with my golf game. But let's just say it's been a very, very interesting past couple weeks, without a doubt. But before I even get in all of that, let me just tell y'all what's going on with the golf game. Just so y'all know, I will be going to Oregon to play in the national championships or the tour that I'm on. I am not a professional. I don't claim to be a professional. I play on something called the US Am Tour. It used to be called the Golf Channel Tour, where people play in tournaments based on their handicap. Professionals, they don't have handicaps. Their shit it's different. I can break that down later. But the last 6 rounds of golf for me, as far as the score, has been 89, 86, 86, 84, 82, and 79, which means it's trending down. If the scores are going down, that means the game is getting better, and that's the objective. Now, just so y'all know, golf does this. So at any given moment, I can shoot a high score, but it seems like what I've worked on is actually working, and it's getting better. So I'll keep y'all posted of what's going on with that. But matter of fact, while I'm saying all of that, let me text our other guest. See you in 10 minutes. Tonight's show is going to be very informative, and we're not just going to review that movie, because we found out some possible information, and we're going to let y'all know about that. But what we want everybody to understand is the issue addressed in that movie was deeper than a movie. And we're most definitely going to touch on that. And when you hear the perspective from our guests, I think it's going to blow y'all away. I'm dead serious. We also want to let everybody know, form your own opinion. We're going to suggest certain things. It's up to you to do it however you want to do it, because you're an adult. We want to help you make an informed decision. So that's just what it is. To see what I've been seeing on social media, I haven't seen anything on the news about it because I don't watch the news. But the video that I made on TikTok before I walked into the movie theater, this shit had 127,000 views. I'm still in shock. But that goes to show you how momentum can be when you start talking about particular subjects. And I say that to say this. We need to be on board with more subjects, not necessarily this, but just period, so that there can be progress. Because when things are done in like a genuine way, that's what's going to happen. But if you're doing this shit disingenuous, what can you expect?
Yeah, I agree.
We just waiting. We're waiting for our guest to come on. Okay, yeah. She said. I said see you in 10 minutes. So she said yeah. So she probably gonna be jumping on in probably like 10 minutes. And Jermaine, you let me know if you like this idea. Once they get on and after we introduce them, I think it'd be good to kind of get everybody's thought process on the movie.
Yeah.
Then from there, we could play that clip of that video.
Okay. Talking about with the girl.
Real Kaya, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and for everybody who's watching, feel free to put y'all thoughts in the chat, and we'll put them up on the screen. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can. Are we gonna let after our guests speak, we're gonna let anybody come on? So it'll be a certain point in the show where we'll send out the link for the show, and then you can come on and express visually with us, with our audience and everybody, how you felt about the movie as well. So put your questions, put your thoughts in the chat. We'll read them out. We'll discuss everything as much as possible, and we'll do one of the best movie reviews that has been done on it. I think we can do it. Our show can do it. If any other show can do it, we can do it.
And make sure we forgot to make sure to tell everybody in the comments, put this city and state where you live. Please, we always want to connect people because you never know who might be your damn next door neighbor.
That's a good one, Jess. That's a good one, Jess. I didn't think about that, because you know what? I didn't really even follow that story really, because I mean, for whatever reason, it didn't hit my radar. So, but that's a good point.
Facts. Yes. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm doing what I usually do. I'm doing my best to share this.
Y'all feel free to start throwing y'all thoughts in about the movie. If you saw the movie, hopefully, if you watched the show last week, we asked everybody to, if you could, go watch the movie. So if you watched the movie, go ahead and start throwing your thoughts of the movie in the chat, and then we'll start putting them up on the screen, and we'll start discussing some of you guys' thoughts until our guests get on.
And we also want to let y'all know too, we have to be mindful of what we're dealing with when we start talking about these platforms. We will not be saying the word that starts with the P and ends in "ile." We will say people who like children, something like that. We will not say the T word that ends in Africa. We're going to say human takers or child takers.
People movers.
People movers. Something. We want to do our best to make sure that the information that's put out is not tampered with. We want this video to go viral, because I'm going to stress this again. It's not about the movie. It's not about the movie. It's about the message. But we're going to switch that from that movie to what we deal with on a daily basis in our own backyard. We're gonna start pretty much the conversation once the Queen logs on, and once she does, then we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. Oh yeah, we see you. We see you in the background, Chief.
Go ahead and bring the Chief in.
And just that fast, he's gone. That's why I told him.
Shit.
Make sure the reception is good. So I know he probably fighting that shit right now. Back again. There you go. The Chief is back again. My man, we see you. We just wait. Because, see, I know how it's going to go. If we bring Kimoni on, we're going to start this shit, and then we're going to have to stop once Odessa comes on. We got to do it. We got to show. We got to have both of them at the same time, yo. And Kimoni, do me a favor. Text me real quick about an intro, per se, about what you were doing in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So I want to introduce the shit right. Just text me anything. It's all good. And I freestyle.
So while we're waiting on them, so let me get your thoughts, and then I'll share my thoughts, because I shared my thoughts a little bit last week. Let me get your thoughts since you watched it since last week.
But just so y'all know, I want to let Tim Ballard has a Facebook chat, like a messenger. I just got a response, and it says, Jerome, thank you so much for your desire to connect. I do my best to keep up with incoming messages, but I cannot always get to them. If you have a question about OUR, please email info regards Tim Ballard. I don't think that was him. That was probably, the handlers, because the way it was, because I sent the video that I posted, so we're going to see. But without further ado, we got both people on. So we can go ahead and, we got one on. There we go. It is what it is. Hello, Queen. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Now, before I do your introduction, am I saying the whole first name or am I saying Des?
You can say whichever one you want to. It don't matter.
We just our other guest, Kimoni, he's having like technical issues, so he might be logging back on in a second. And I read your bio. I think I'm gonna be a gangster. I'm just gonna say it real fast. I'm gonna read your whole bio, yo. I was like, damn, this is official. This is what I'm talking about. We're gonna introduce Kimoni in a second, but while we got the time, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce this special queen right here by the name of Odessa Perkins. There we go. See, hopefully we good. There you go. What's up, Chief?
What's up, man? I just text you a short something, man.
I got you. So Odessa is a native of California. She currently holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a minor in child development.
Barely hear this.
She's also a published author of 3 books: Warrior, I Am Affirmation for Kids, and I Am an Affirmation coloring book. She has administered trainings on various topics and is not limited to domestic violence and human sex. I see, I almost caught myself. And human takers. She is an author, advocate, business owner, counselor, educator, speaker, but most importantly, she's a survivor. That's what I want everybody to understand about this particular guest. The topic of that movie, she's been through it, and she's still here. So, without further ado, Miss Odessa Perkins.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Queen.
Hello. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great.
Very well.
Awesome.
Glad you're on. And on the other special guest, if y'all seen that face before, is our brother Kimoni Bravehorse. And what he did was he got information from friends and families and hunted girls down based off of link diagram, association matrices, and time event charts. So basically, he was in the field. So once again, even though, like I said, he's a friend of the show, Kimoni Bravehorse.
What's up, family?
What's up, brother?
Now
What's, man?
we're gonna start off, and I want to ask Odessa first, because we not gonna stay on the movie long. We're gonna go into what y'all are about.
I could barely hear you, fool. I hear the sister good, man. I could for some reason I could barely hear you. I tried to adjust my volume.
What about now? Can y'all hear me good?
I can hear you, man. If ain't nobody else complaining, I guess I ain't either, man. So
no, Jermaine, can you hear me? And what about Odessa? Y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
okay, it might be just my raggedy internet out here, but go ahead, bro. I can hear.
We're not going to stay on the movie too much, but we just want to get how y'all felt about the movie. But then we're going to go to the next level. But even before we do that, Kimoni saw it. But we're going to play a clip of a particular video, and we want to hear what Odessa has to say, because I know Kimoni is going to touch on it. So we'll start off with you, Queen. What did you think about the movie?
I actually hosted in my city. I currently live in Bakersfield. I hosted a movie premiere. It says it started on the 4th, but it actually started on the 3rd. So my nonprofit went and bought out a movie theater, and opened it up to the public.
Okay.
And I felt it was very important to see that movie based on, you know, of course it was overseas, and every time you speak on
It caught it.
every time you speak on things like this, people think it's the movie Taken. And that's one of my main things to let people know. This ain't the movie Taken. Yeah, it does happen overseas and all this kind of stuff, but I need everybody to reel it back in because it happens in the United States. Then it turns around and you reel it in a little bit more. It happens in California. Then you turn around and reel it in just a little bit more. It happens in Bakersfield, California. So the reason it was so important to me about this movie is because it just brought awareness to people, because I had so many people in that movie theater after the fact saying they didn't know, and some people were walking out, and we had teenagers off in there who were crying, and it was a very deep situation, because it was about 300 seats that we purchased for the public. We put it all over the news and everything for them to just people to come out to bring awareness to it. Nice. Because it's not a felony. It's not a serious felony. And I'm one of the people who is helping turn legislation over. I'm sure you guys have heard about all the stuff going on in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. Well, I was the key witness.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the key witness, and they denied us, and just the stuff that they were saying based on the reason that they denied it was, okay, yeah, I can see it, but right now what we were talking about was children from the ages of 0 to 17. So I was a little pissed on last Tuesday is when we actually were in Sacramento. Then within 48 hours, they reversed it from peer pressure. But it don't matter to me what kind of pressure it was, as long as they reversed it and it passed.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, Kimoni,
sir,
what's your thoughts on the movie?
Man, when I start talking about it, man, I don't want people to think that I didn't like the movie. I give them an A for effort, man. I think they really showed when I went in there, man, I expected to go in there and cry. You know what I'm saying? Because every solid dude I know that watched that movie went in there and cried. But I expected to see something that I hadn't seen from actually putting hands on when it came to people takers. You know what I'm saying? And the things that I heard and the things that, you know, from when debriefing these young girls and stuff like that, the things that I had heard and they had pretty much walked me through it, I felt like I was there when it was happening to them. The movie paled in comparison. You know what I'm saying? There was some emotionally tugging parts in the movie, especially when, like, the closest I got to crying is when the dude sat the little boy down and asked him was he hungry and that sort of thing. And I thought if he'd have touched that boy, I'd had to get up and leave the theater. So I give these guys an A for effort, right? But what I didn't like is they didn't touch, like the sister said, they didn't, and I talked to you about it, Fu. They did not touch on America, bro. There's 220,000 kids didn't come home from school.
Hold that thought. See, that's the thing. That's
what I thought about the movie.
Can I say something to what he's saying?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on the front line. You can't think on the front line. You know what it actually is.
Right,
you have to be. This movie was. I appreciate you giving them an A for effort, but to me, they completely deserved the A because honestly, what this movie was about was bringing awareness. Because if you had not known all of this, if you were not on the front line, if you had never interviewed any of those girls, you would have cried.
That's exactly what I said. I give them an A for effort for bringing it to the awareness of people who weren't on the front lines. You know what I'm saying? They did a fantastic job. Yeah. I just wish, and I guess Fu gonna let us touch on this later. I just wish they would have talked about the girls that didn't come home from the Atlanta airport, the girls that didn't come home from LAX. You know what I'm saying? I just wish they would have talked more about, you know, that same modeling agency type stuff and how they recruit, you know, Hey, I guess we're gonna get into it, man. I don't want to get ahead of
what I'm gonna say to that is, here we are. Let's make a movie.
Well,
right. Exactly.
To both of you guys' point, I think the movie, I think like Odessa said, she said it did what it was supposed to do to the novice person who doesn't know, who probably came into the movie not knowing anything about or probably heard about it, but probably brush it to the side, because most people are programmed to, if it's not affecting you personally, then we can just throw it to the back of our mind.
You don't want to think about it. It's not happening in my city. There's no way. We live in an amazing community.
Right. But then what they had to do with the movie, they had to make it not so graphic enough for people can even just get through the movie, because like Kimoni said, like, you know, I consider myself a pretty solid dude, but I was in there like this. Me and my wife went, and I'm like this. I'm turning from her like this, like, you know, holding them back, because it's like, you know, I got, when you have kids, you know, it kind of hits you a little bit different. And so I think what they did with the movie, especially with the opening scene, like Kimoni was saying, with the, you know, when you go to, and we saying other country, you know, Mexico and all that stuff, that shit ain't too far from us. You know what I'm saying? We our people, we take trips there all the freaking time. Oh, we going to Mexico, going to live it up and all this kind of shit like that. But don't understand that stuff like that goes on down there. So that opening scene where she's like, I'm presenting an opportunity to get you out of this situation, whatever situation you're in. These kids are going to get you out of it, because I'm gonna put them in a place. But me as a father, I'm like, "Oh, you can't come in." I'm like, "Oh, hell no!" Then that ain't happening. Then let's go. You know what I'm saying? That for me, that was. And if you're watching, it's gonna be some spoilers. So if you hadn't watched it, it's gonna be some freaking spoilers. Sorry.
Well, it's been out 2 weeks. Everybody should have seen it by now. And if you haven't seen it, go see it tonight.
I'm gonna say this, and after I get my little half a cent in, then Jermaine has a video to play. Kimoni's already saw it. Odessa hasn't seen it, and I know the viewers haven't. But this is what I liked about the movie. I agree totally that it brought the awareness. The other thing that I loved about the movie was that the situations that happened in it was implied. They weren't graphic. That to me was beautiful, and I think that was partly because it wasn't Hollywood. Ain't no telling what we would have seen if this was a Hollywood movie, without a doubt. The other aspect that I loved was that they told the story based on the brother and the sister. It wasn't about a big, like, it wasn't broad. It was strictly on them two. And lastly, I think a lot of people probably didn't pay attention to, because they were so focused on just the movie. And I'm not talking about outsiders. They probably didn't pay attention to how the subject was brushed off by the powers that be. The powers that be was on some, fuck that shit. Long as we don't care about them damn kids. They didn't care. And that right there was an issue. But once again, we are telling people, go check it out. But man, go ahead and cue up that video, yo, as soon as you can. We're gonna play part of this video, because we want y'all to see it from the other perspective. We're not gonna play the whole thing. If anybody wants it, we'll send it to you. But we can't object to what she's saying, because it makes sense. But after you watch the part we're going to show, and after you go watch the entire video yourself, we're not going to tell people. We're not going to tell people don't go see it. Make your own choice. We want everybody to. Everybody has their own mind, regardless. That's a given. Pay attention to what this queen is saying right here.
I agree with you. I think everybody should see it. Man. Absolutely, everybody.
Propaganda that's happening with the sound of.
I put it on my Facebook. I did a couple lives about it.
Scripted, all that and above. They're using our concern for human trafficking to create psychic attacks. Stay with me, okay? So you know how TikTok is the hotspot for us spiritually aware people. Them giving out free tickets. Them saying that the major film production companies are not accepting the movie. There are signs that are showing that Tim Ballard is a Freemason. This is him in a picture, but if you look closely at the tie, it looks like Freemason symbols. I don't know about y'all, but I do not trust anything with Freemasonry. I've become convinced that this microchipping program is the only way to effectively protect our kids in the digital age. Get your kids chipped now. Now, the spark that actually made me think more deeply about this movie is this. Isis Wisdom commented under the video that I had posted about the movie. And she said they put something in the movie. The more you guys talk about this and share this trailer, the more people will become attacked. They are using reverse psychology on the people. I was in deep thought about what she said. So I'm going on a deep dive, trying to investigate as much as I can. I found this tweet. Tim Ballard, a CIA Freemason, makes a movie financed by Carlos Slim, ties with the Clinton Foundation. So then I had to look up who the heck is Carlos Slim. This is the richest man in Mexico. Then I'm seeing pictures like this. We got Bill Gates. We got him with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And there it is, ties with the Clinton Foundation. It just gets worse for y'all. Look at this. Then I started thinking, why would this man fund the Sound of Freedom movie when he is close with the people who are a part of the things that's happening in the Sound of Freedom movie? Clinton Foundation, Bill Gates, the Biden family. And I'm just like, this can't be true, right? He did not fund it. Just because there's a tweet online, it's not factual, right?
A great group of people come together to invest in this production. Some of them, the Carlos Slim family is involved.
What the? So now I'm starting to see why there was a reason why I wanted to cover my head up when I was talking about this situation. I had to put my smartphone for this topic of discussion because I'm an empath and I will feel the world's entire pain just by this topic. Okay, so we have to go deeper. So now it's like, what's the purpose? Why would they fund them exposing this? Now, Isis Wisdom then went live later saying this.
So they put these little propaganda pieces out there because they're looking for a particular type of audience. The audience that they're looking for are those so-called woke individuals. But if you're woke, then you would have had enough discernment not to get caught up in the matrix. What they're wanting to do is for people to talk about this thing, spread the trailer out there, do as much things as possible. For those of you,
I'm using myself as an example.
Now, we don't want to play the video. Serious. We wanted to play that video. People make their own decision of how they want to do it. But the other part of that is that was based on the detail of actually the movie. We're going to focus on these people because you got people that boots to the ground. You got somebody all doing it and actually saving it. And then you have Odessa who was and she is saving people. So from there, let's move on to y'all stories. And we're gonna start with Odessa. We always gotta start with the lady first. So Odessa, the floor, you know, like let us know what's going on with you.
We getting some feedback. I think it's from Odessa. Can you go back out and come back in?
Yo, that ain't shit, yo. They messing with this damn thing already. Hands down. You muted. There you go.
Yeah, I can hear y'all now. I had to go out and go back in, man, and now I can hear you good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we good. Yeah,
Okay.
like I
Yeah, but
the floor is yours, yo.
you put that in your, anytime you put that in the title, man, you know what I'm saying, they gonna mess with it, you know what I'm saying? Because
Well, first, what I want to say to that video, I'm a spiritual person as well, but I don't believe in every woke person what they got to say. So,
thank you.
and
Thank
to me, the person who is portraying so woke, because if you woke, you ain't got to put it out there. You can just be woke and handle your own personal information and your own personal business. I don't have to put out there that I'm spiritual. So what she said, what she was saying has no effect on me or how I would ever feel
I'm
or
glad
anything,
she said
because she could be the one who's spewing the bull crap.
I'm glad you said it, sis, so I ain't have to sound like a pessimist.
Yeah, because to me, you're saying these people are putting that out there, but we know that our app now, I'm just learning about it from my kids. A person can make it sound like you talking and it really ain't you, and they putting you with a whole nother face and all that. So how do we know all that was true in the first place if you don't do your own research? Mm-hmm. So what she had to say, I dismiss all of that.
Okay.
I agree with you, sister, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I am a survivor. I don't care who attached to who, to what, to where, to why, to when. I don't care. I know what I went through. I know what I just took 32 people to the beach that are domestic violence, DV, SA, HT survivors and their children. I know what I was just told in those stories. So what anybody else has to say or go through, or you attach to this person or whatever, these is real life human beings over here. I'm a real life human being. So I know what I went through, and I don't have to be attached to nobody to prove it. It's stated, it's facts, you know.
I agree
But
100%, man.
a little bit about me. I'm a mother of 5 grown kids. My oldest is 32. My twins are 31. I have a 28-year-old and a 24-year-old Marine. I have 10 grandbabies. They are one just getting ready to go to high school, 9th grade, and then one all the way down to 7 months old. But it's 10 total. I'm an educator. I'm a published author. I am an advocate for human trafficking, for HT. That's gonna be hard for me, boy. I'm a business owner. I'm very educated. I have 2 master's degrees, a PPS degree, education specialist degree. I have, you name it, I got it, you know. And the reason I decided to go get all that stuff initially, it wasn't because I wanted to be educated. It was because I was told something in the midst of all those trials. And that's what made me become educated. I was told that I would never be nothing more than a mattress for men to lay on.
Wow. Wow.
And this was in the midst of all that. I'm a very young teenager when I was told this. So my thought process, because you have to retrain your thinking. So my thought, when things like these happen to you, so my thought process was, if I go get this AA degree, I'm not a mattress. But wait a minute, I need to go get this BA degree, because if I get more and more education, I'm not a mattress. Then I'm gonna go get this master's degree. Then I'm gonna go and get this master's MBA. Then I went and got the education counseling master's degree. Then I went and got the PPS degree. I can't be a mattress, right? Then I went on to get even a few more degrees. But in all of that, I had to learn. I ended up going through counseling, because it wasn't nothing about that. It was all internal. You had to change. I had to change my thought process because of everything that happened to me. I was in a constant fight. You know how they say fight or flight? I was in a constant fight, and it was my own internal fight because of what I had went through. So I had to do that counseling, and ain't nothing wrong with counseling. Hell, I'm here to tell you, ain't nothing wrong with counseling, but I had to do that counseling in order to change my thought process. And then in the midst of that, then I became the author, and I wrote a book on my life. And then I wrote a book for children, because they need to know what they are before the world tells them what they're not. Then I did the matching coloring book. Then I went and started being the advocate. It literally, all this just blew up for me last year, because I was introduced to the district attorney, and then the district attorney introduced me to the senator. Then the senator just started having me go all these different places. This was literally just February 2022. Then I was the key witness last year for the bill. Then turn around this year, I'm not the key witness, but I am a witness. Then we turn around and we go to the big thing, the Assembly Public Safety. And I am the key witness for that. And that's where all this is blowing up. They had Elon Musk was tweeting about this bill. They had tweets all the way from Croatia about this bill, because they wondering what's wrong with California.
Odessa, before you go on, I want to kind of go into that real quick, just to be clear. This particular bill, if I'm not mistaken, and you can clarify it, basically the Democrats in that area vetoed a bill that would have given human takers, or the
0 to 17 years old children.
if they would have they wanted to give them life in prison, correct? And they denied that?
No.
Okay, go ahead, break it down.
So last year it was called SB 1042 last year, and it classified HT for everyone. Grown women, grown men, everybody. Well, they denied us last year. So this year they told us, we want to pass your bill, but you need to make some amendments to it. So we took out everybody this year and we made it 0 to 17 years old. We want it to be a violent felony because you can go to the bank right now. Don't have a gun. Do not have a gun. Go to the bank, hand them a note, say you want the money. That's a violent felony. But doing what they do to children is not. So we wanted to turn this bill. We turned it from 0 to 17 years old only right now to a serious and violent felony. And it can be, if you are a repeat offender, it can be a strike. So the first time you do it, it's not even a strike. It's the second or third. If it's your third time doing it and you get caught, that's when it's a strike. But when we were in front of those assembly people and I did my testimony, what I saw, this lady over here was texting that man over there. This man over here looks up and starts laughing because she's texting him. This one over here, these are all senators, mind you. This one over here texting and everything. That showed me y'all don't care nothing about us. And I had the chair come outside after we finished testifying. I had the chair come outside. Reggie, I'll look up his name, but his first name is Reggie, the chair of the assembly, who's currently running for a major city council position in Los Angeles. He pulled me to the side. That was a Tuesday morning. He pulled me to the side and told me, we already were going to vote no the night before. We had 5 no's. You hadn't even heard my testimony. We had, excuse me, we had 5 no's. Your testimony made us not vote at all. So we gave you the ability to have a reconsideration by not voting. But prior even to, they hadn't even, they were voting no off top without hearing anything. That tells me that you don't care and you part of the problem and you probably one of them people that's helping them other people.
Okay. Well, based on what you told me, I'm glad that the backlash came. And
I am too. I definitely am. They need it. But he's already saying, because I was interviewed with the Fox, and he was interviewed with Fox, and the senator was interviewed with Fox. So they're on break right now. They have a 30-day break. They go back mid-August. He already said he's going to block it again.
Wow.
He said that on the news. He's going to block it again.
Wow.
I ain't surprised.
Now we heard it from that aspect. Now, Kimoni, the floor is yours. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let people know what you was doing in Atlanta and some of the stories that you had.
Well, man, I don't, and this is why you don't hear me talk about a lot on Facebook at all. When I'm talking about traffic, I never talk about me, man, because it's a place I really don't want to relive, and I really don't want to I don't like to say what these girls said and what they, I'll say some of the things that I know they went through.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, one of them was a girl that
hold that thought. Let me make sure I frame this right. Before you even go into the story, now I want you to say what you were saying about the movie, how it didn't touch on what was going on here. That's why I wanted to say. I wanted to kind of that way so that they could give context to where you was coming from.
Okay, so this is me in Atlanta, man, doing Revolution, bro. Coming out of Revolution because I'm feeling like there's something bigger, and it was this, the taking and running of our children. And Atlanta, bro, Atlanta got College Park down there, all the colleges. and girls were literally being taken from the airport on their way to college. Girls were literally being taken, walking around Clark and stuff like that, bro. And for a while, I had been lobbying the chief of police to build a vice squad, because every major city has a vice. Atlanta's a major city, bro, and vice is major crimes. So they don't have major crimes, so they don't investigate. They don't even investigate kidnappings. You know what I'm saying? So what was happening was, since College Park is so big in Atlanta, their rule was, like, say you call down to Atlanta to talk to your daughter that's down there in college, right? And she don't answer the phone for like 3 or 4 days. Bro, she has to be missing from a city that she ain't even from. She has to be missing for 72 hours before you file a missing persons report. Now, in 72 hours, bro, she can be taken through Atlanta airport and flown to either South America if they're looking to take guts, or she can be flown to Saudi Arabia, you know what I'm saying, and somewhere else if they're looking to take something else. 72 hours. Now, Hartsfield International, bro, is a major hub for what do we call it? Human takers. Yeah, human. It's a major hub, fam. So they never, even me going to these city council meetings and stuff like that, Vice was never, as a matter of fact, another brother, a lieutenant, that had been lobbying them to get a vice for the same thing. Him and I were on the same thing. They ended up blackballing him. He had to retire. He had to retire early because he was lobbying for it. So at this time, and I'm walking away from Revolution, I'm trying to put together some people to kind of prevent this. And I put together some patrols where brothers was patrolling the streets or whatever. And that was I don't know if it helped or not, but that's preventive. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something to get some people back. And a brother gave me my first opportunity, man. He went to high school with a girl. He was a young cat. He went to high school with a girl, and she came up, missing. So he introduced me to her parents, her mom and her sisters and brothers and stuff. And they were skeptical at first, man. They were super, super skeptical. And I had to give them my credentials, the fact that I was, counterintelligence agent and this and that, and tell them I got nothing to gain from it. I don't know your daughter. I had to show them my Facebook page where I was telling people, if you have a daughter or son in college and in Atlanta, they should know my phone number, bro. I literally posted my phone number on Facebook. That's how serious I was about these kids. So we ended up talking, man. And I gave them a list of my credentials and that sort of thing, told them who I used to work for, and they trusted me. And upon trusting me, I was able to build my charts. You know what I'm saying? Let's start with her association. You know what I'm saying? Who does she know? Who does she hang out with? Did she have an old phone in the house? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know she had her phone. Does she have an old phone in the house? Can I look in her room? That sort of thing. So you start with your association matrices of who she knows. Then you go to the time events chart and put all of the pieces into place chronologically. Like, okay, she was with this girl that last seen at the gas station. Go check those cameras, that sort of thing. And then you do your time events charts, association matrix, and you draw your link diagrams. You know what I'm saying? And before you know it, bro, you're going to find somebody. If you talk to enough people, you're going to find somebody that know what's going on. And by the time I got that girl back, bro, she had already escaped and made it to the hospital. The hospital called the police. The police gave it back to her people.
Wow.
Back to the traffic.
Back to the people?
Gave it back to the people. Back to the people.
Wow.
Back to the people. So the hospitals are in on it. The police are in on it. Okay, yeah, the hospitals are in on it, man. The police are in on it. You know what I'm saying? So when you finally get some of these girls back, man, if you're lucky enough to get them back, bro, they don't trust. And they did a great job of depicting that in that movie. They did a fantastic job of when they finally rescued those kids. They didn't know that if this was real or not. So they kept saying they teddy bear and kept saying their code names and stuff like that. They don't know who to trust. Imagine going to all of the people, bro, physicians, police, everybody that's supposed to keep you safe, man, and they turn you right back over to them.
Hey, I wanted to touch on what you said about the airport, LaGuardia and all these airports being like one of the big hubs, because I just talked to Jay. Everybody know Jay. Jay was one of the co-hosts. So she was traveling with her young grandson. She brought him to New York with her, and she was like, they don't ask for kids at a certain age. They don't ask for no ID. They don't ask for nothing. They just ask them who what's your name and who is this to you? Who is this person to you? They don't they don't make them go take his shoes off. None of that stuff that an adult would have to do to go through security check. So so you could just imagine how many kids come through there, and they're being forced to say, yeah, that's my dad, that's my granddad, or whatever the case may be, and then that's it. The airport just wipe their hands of it. So it's crazy.
Them kids, bro, them kids, whatever name they gave them to say, that's what them kids gonna say. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, they've met so many adults that are in on it. You know what I'm saying? They've met so many adults that are in on it. By this time, bro, they are in that row. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that name is, I'm holding your hand. It's my father. Whatever it is, they in that row, bro, because they don't know if that person is going to be able to rescue them. She might just be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You done said, this ain't my real dad. And then he's like, this is my real son. Okay. All right, go ahead, little man. Now you know what I'm saying? Now you in deep shit. So they got these kids, man.
I've seen a few. I'm gonna ask both of y'all this. I've seen a few videos with it's supposed to be like some hand signals or something like that that children can give or women can give to kind of show that they might be in trouble. Is that true, or that bullshit?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't I've never heard. I've never, like, the girls that I talked to, they didn't say anything about a secret handshake. You know what I'm saying? They said it was, in fact, it wasn't secretive at all. It was overt. Like, everybody that they had them around knew it was going on, and there was no secret anyway.
There is a hand signal. It's not a handshake. There's a hand signal if you're in trouble that someone can give. I don't personally know it, but there is a hand signal that you can give. But just like if I know it, if you know it, if somebody else know it, the people know it as well.
Dude, go on the Department of, because we were talking about earlier, right? We were talking about who's all in on the police, all of these guys, politicians, right? Go to the Department of Justice website. They have removed human taking of children. They removed sex crimes against children. They removed prostitution of children, all from their list of concerns, bro. Took it all the way off the website. It's not even in their concerns anymore, bro.
Wow.
This war right now, and I posted this the other day on Facebook. This next war, bro, will be for the souls of our children, bro. The souls of our children. You have to look at where they're going with the whole Baphomet thing, right? This whole, and I'm not trashing anybody. What I'm about to say is true. The whole LGBTQ, right? They all got one thing in common, fam, and that is they can't reproduce. So they need babies. They need babies for the adrenochrome. You want me to?
Oh shit! Damn it! Okay, keep going. Just don't. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They need babies for the fountain of youth. They need babies for their sick fetishes. They need babies for organs. You know what I'm saying? Like they need babies to create more LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? Because without them babies, it stops. Did y'all see the video I posted where they was in the parades and say, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children, bro? Yeah. It's facts. It's facts.
I would say this to both, and because we all around the same age.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you don't really pay any attention to it, but as you get older, you be like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I remember the missing children on the back of the milk carton.
And ain't no milk cartons no more.
Yeah, and
right.
But the way you just framed it is what I was thinking about. I was saying, wait a minute. For the longest time, there were missing kids on the back of these milk cartons. Yeah. Now there's no more milk cartons if y'all was quote unquote putting it out there back then, what are y'all doing now to put it out there? Not a
Hey, the creator of the Amber Alert is a convicted pedophile. The creator of it. So, fam, here's what's happening, right? Kimoni riding down the street, I-40. I get an Amber Alert. Be on the lookout for a red F-150 with highlight on the plate, H-I-L-I-T-E. So I'm riding. I see it. I'm like, man, let me call Amber Alert. I see this truck. So I call Amber Alert, say, hey, this truck is headed 40 west near exit 379. Man, that truck's gonna take an exit, fam.
Thumb inside, palm folded down, and drop the fork.
Nah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's it.
Bro, they gonna give that dude that got that baby. They gonna give him off. Hey, somebody just saw you on 40. You need to go ahead and get off and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Amber Alert is, fam. It's ridiculous.
I think it's I know it's a full court press. It's a full court press on our kids right now.
Yeah,
it's coming from every direction, and I think this movie shine the light on what people, like we said earlier, what people just putting in the back of their, in the back of their mind, because if it doesn't affect you personally in your circle, then that's just what happens.
You don't care.
I mean, that's just human. That's most human nature. That's just what happened. But that video that we played with the girl saying about it did spark something in my mind. And I told I told him this, and we all know that they've been pushing this AI crap, right? So they've been pushing this chip and all this kind of stuff like that. And this is just my mind just saying, okay, what if? You know what I'm saying? So what if this movie was to get some of these gullible people who just really don't know and say, oh yeah, I think that chip is a good idea for my kid. Let me go ahead and get that, not knowing that it's a detriment to them. You know what I'm saying? So not taken away from the movie.
But they've been talking about the chip long before the movie.
Right. I agree with you. And most people have, and then you have people who already signed their kids up for the chip and have the chip already. You already have it already, even before the movie. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that what she's saying is far. I'm just saying, okay, it could be a possibility, but it doesn't take away from what's happening with the situation with the kids. That's all I'm saying. It could be somebody connected to whatever. Okay, cool. But the message about these kids, what's happening to these kids here in America and abroad, is still a big issue that nobody wants to tackle, because the higher you get up, the more you realize that these people that block these bills, that do this and do that, they're involved in it. It's a reason why Ghislaine Maxwell, this list hasn't come out about Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein been dead, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, however long he's been supposedly committed, unalive himself or whatever. And we still ain't seen no list. We ain't seen no list. We ain't seen no name. You know why? Because most of your favorite people are on that list.
And I would say this. Part of the issue is we've went away from community. So many people are so focused on their own and everything like that. People aren't looking to see what might be going on. If it looks kind of strange that this fucking 60-year-old man is holding the hand of this girl that don't look nothing like him, I'm not saying you're supposed to just automatically just go up and say something, but you gotta use your own common sense.
No, if you see something, say something.
No, I'm saying
everybody, this is what everybody's currently doing. This is why we can't. This is the problem.
I agree.
Everybody got their head down in their phone, and nowadays, when something is happening, what does everybody do? They don't help nobody. They just video. We've gotten away from being people. That's what we've gotten away from. I noticed, thank God my kids are grown, because I probably would break their backs. But Kids don't even sit at the table with their parents anymore and have dinner. This is what they're doing at the table. When you go out to eat, that's what you could have a group of friends, and I've witnessed it. You can have a group of friends and everybody talking about, everybody posting, having such a good time, but everybody on their phone with their head down on their phone. Then somebody say, let's take a picture. Everybody pose, put their phone down, everybody pose, take that picture. It's sent to everybody in that group, and then everybody go back to texting, having such a good time out with friends. You ain't even talking to your friends. You're on your phone. We have gotten away from being people. I didn't die from drinking water from the water faucet. My kids didn't die from drinking water from the water faucet. My kids didn't get hurt going outside playing till the street lights came on. Then you come in the house. My kids wasn't hurt from get out of grown folks' conversations, go somewhere and play. That didn't happen. My kids wasn't hurt from that, but we don't do any of that anymore. Another thing that I talk about is I don't even hear people say, have you had that conversation about the birds and the bees to your kids? I used to hear that when I was growing up. I don't hear that at all. And then we got grandkids raising our kids. Not mine personally, but grandkids raising kids. So therein lies a whole nother problem. A grandma that's 80 years old can't tell a 15-year-old jack.
Grandmother's raising kids. Yeah,
I got a question for both of y'all. This just popped in my head based on that movie. What's the youngest child you would take to go see that movie?
I don't myself, bro. I don't like when we go to I don't want to be difficult. I think as Black people, one of the things that we picked up from being colonized was doing everything based off of a number. Your 7-year-old might had a maturity of a 13-year-old, or my 7-year-old might be on some 5-year-old shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's all in your understanding. We took our son to see it. He's 7. You know what I'm saying? And he talked about the movie yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So
go. I'm sorry.
No, you good, sis. I'm done.
To piggyback off of that, how old is old enough to be DV or
that's facts.
HT?
That's right.
I mean, I started being touched at 4.
Oh, damn.
So, people asked me when I wrote my book, how young can a kid read this book? And what I tell them, I said, well, don't infants get touched? Don't 2-year-olds get touched? Don't 4-year-olds get touched? I'm sure they can't read it, but as soon as your child is old enough to start having a conversation with you, I'm not saying see the movie, but start having them conversations. Because of what happened to me, I started having them conversations with my kids early, because I want you to know, if you feel something, it might not be nothing, but if somebody accidentally do something it made you uncomfortable, you come tell me, because I'm gonna handle it.
And that's the reason why I asked that, because the movie is not graphic. As I think about it now, from when I first originally saw it, it turns into, because it's so implied, if you do take a child, you can have the conversation afterwards to say, listen, you got to make sure, if something, like she said, if something don't feel right, then you let me know. If somebody says something to you, you let me know. Don't ever go with anybody and stuff like that. But I think if the movie would have been more graphic, because I don't think kids should see certain shit. But the movie, everything was really, really implied.
Right.
That worked.
And there was a 10-year-old girl, man, and I think I posted that too. The mother had the conversation with her, and she was 10, and they tried to snatch her off her front lawn. This is about 3 weeks ago. And man, what the dude that tried to snatch her, bro, she gave him the business. Let her go. Bro, she was biting and kicking and scratching, and the dude had to drop her and let her go. And they a migrant, they ended up catching him, a migrant. But bro, she fought, kicked, and screamed and bit, and dude had to let her go. And that's because her mom had the conversation with her. It was a single mom, you know what I'm saying? And when single moms, single parent homes, period, those conversations tend to be more intimate with the child. When you got a mother and a father in the house, you kind of take it for granted. But when it's a mother and a child, those conversations seem to be more intimate, man. And I guess she told her what she needed to tell her, man, because she got away. It was a good story.
But that's why it's important that you have these conversations and other conversations at home with your kids. Nobody else should be having conversations like this with your kids.
Yeah.
Whether it be talking about sex or anything like that, it shouldn't be nobody else talking to your kids about this shit but the parents. And
they're steady pushing for laws, man, to talk about it younger. And now they talking about it in kindergarten, man. Yeah. They didn't push it to third grade. Now they want to talk about sexuality in kindergarten and LGBTQ and all of this stuff, man.
And what does a 4 and a 5-year-old know anything about sex need to be
but they want to talk about all that, but they took out life skills. They took out cooking class. They took out all that stuff that taught our kids the stuff that they needed to know. And now they putting in that they're spewing their own agenda on sexuality in the schools.
But then
and here's another. So I'm an educator. So we just finished school, and I have a child. It blew my mind. There is a child who's in kindergarten who, at the beginning of the school year, was dressed as a girl. Is a girl. Let's be clear. Is a girl. By mid-school, the hair was cut about right here. By closer to the end of school, boy clothing, name changed, short haircut. Can't no kindergartner make that decision.
Right.
Them parents wanted a son.
Democrats are talking about removing all the urinals out of bathrooms, man. It's just gonna be total.
But then you get these people who get their panties in a freaking bunch that gets on my nerves. I'm like, well, let these people live. They're not bothering you and all this kind of stuff. But it's some people in that community. If that community has been infiltrated, and if you don't understand that community has been infiltrated by some of these people, then you fucking damn sleeping, because that you opening up doorways for children to put stuff in their mind that they can't even compartmentalize. Your brain doesn't even freaking fully develop until you're 25. So how can a 4 and a 5-year-old compartmentalize? Oh, maybe I am a boy. Oh, maybe I am a girl. Well, why does she have or why is this, drag talking to me? What intrinsic value does it give to have a person in drag to reading, having story time with freaking damn kids and saying, well, I came out of the closet here, and you can be this and you can be that. No, you shouldn't. That shit it pisses me off, because I don't have any hate in my heart for anybody. Look, you do you. When you're an adult, you do
That's
you.
That's what I feel. Do what you want to do.
Yeah,
you do what you want to do. You go on the stripper pole, turn into a boy, turn into a rabbit, turn into a dog. If that floats your boat, float your boat. But
then have at it. But let me raise my kids. Don't put your agenda on my children. You can be what you want to be and have the best life possible. I don't have nothing against anybody. I even have friends that are in those communities.
Correct.
But you teach them over there, and I'll teach mine over here. I can't turn around and be like, I'm straight and you need to understand it.
I want to play y'all this real quick, because I saw this today, and it really burned me up. I sent it to a couple of people. I think I sent it to Fu, and I just want you to hear what this person's saying. So if you can't tell me there's not an agenda of, well, let me get to them as early as possible, then you explain to me why this fucking asshole who needs to be fucking damn shot. Excuse my French.
We don't support violence.
We don't support violence, but
I've trained all the children at my summer camp to come to me whenever I play my recorder. Bunch of 5 to 11-year-olds are just following me wherever I go. I have so much power and I love it. It's the perfect time to teach them about trans.
Did y'all hear what he said? It's the perfect time for me to teach them about trans. Now, if that don't, and see the people who say, well, leave them alone. They not bothering nobody. They are bothering somebody. And if it be, and like we said before, because it's not personal to you, because maybe you don't have little kids, or maybe whatever, you don't care. But this shit is happening.
Bro, the same folks, right, that say leave them people alone, they're not bothering you, are the same folks that will say the sex trafficking shit ain't got nothing to do with them. Bro, there are people ask me why I do any number of things. Why did I go after the girls? You know what I'm saying? Why did I throw camps? You know, men's camps, stuff like that. Who came down a couple of them? Why would I do stuff like that? I'm a chief. So when somebody says that something's not my business, you're wrong. It might not be your business. You might just be a mortal or a mere peasant or whatever. But I'm a chief. I'm a chief, and I come from chiefs, bro. This is my land. So everything on it, from sea to shining damn sea, is my business. So a man dressing like a girl, or you can do whatever you want in the privacy of your own home. But if there's a reasonable expectation for children to be there, you dead ass wrong. And I will say it. You're wrong. If I ever see a grown man walk into a bathroom behind a little girl, I don't know what the rules are. Fam, you have to fight me. I don't care. It might not be my kids. Doesn't matter where I am. Doesn't matter where I am, because nothing, when you're a chief, nothing wrong can happen around you. Period, fam. Period. So those same cats would be like, oh, they ain't bothering you, bro. They could take over the world, and they wouldn't do nothing about it. And those are the same ones that say, man, they taking these babies, ain't got nothing to do with me, man. My kid's grown. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna have an excuse, bro, for inaction.
Yo, based on what you said, do me a favor and tell the story about what your staff sergeant said to you about you not picking up that garbage.
Oh yeah,
and
bro, that's one of the most important lessons I ever learned in my life, man. Which is why food knows it, because I always repeat it, man. I was a kid. I was 19 in the Army, and I was walking past some paper that I was on the garbage I was on the floor, on the ground or whatever, some paper, and I didn't put it there, so I just kept walking. I didn't pick it up, and the sergeant major calls me back. He's like, "Come here, Private. Go back over there. I get it at parade rest." Yes, sergeant major. He's like, "You didn't see that piece of paper on the floor, just on the ground over there?" I said, "Roger, sergeant major. I saw it." He's like, "Why didn't you pick it up?" I said, "Honestly, sergeant major, because I ain't drop it." He's like, "Is it supposed to be there?" I said, "No, sergeant major." He said, "Let me tell you something, and I want you to take this and use this for the rest of your life." He said, "Anytime you walk past something that is substandard and you keep walking, just set a new standard, man." So all of these kids that are being taken, and we don't say nothing. You see how bad it is now, bro. We set a new standard a long time ago. When taking first really when it really started hitting the mainstream as it relates to people, right, was probably about what, 2017, 18, when it really started hitting the mainstream that, damn, they taking our babies, right? And we didn't do anything. Look where we are now in 2023. Bro, they taking them out of Walmart. They snatched them out of ladies' arm, taking them out of Walmart, stuff like that, man. Go on TikTok. You see grown women, bro, grown women. You know what I'm saying? Telling their story at Walmarts and stuff like that. Like,
I mean, I guess when you start thinking about this subject matter and stuff like that, people tend to brush it off because they don't want to talk about it. I got to tell you, Odessa, I commend you because you're willing to tell your story. I for a lot of people, when I was involved in network marketing and everything like that, I would tell people, you have to say what your story is because you don't know who you're going to touch. You have no idea who you're going to touch. I get it that it's hard for you to speak on it, but by you getting it out, imagine how many more people you can impact, even if it's one. Because I've heard multiple stories that certain things were said to them that prevented them from killing themselves. And I was like, God damn. Because since I don't think like that, I can't put other people in a box. Everybody is fucking different. So that's why I always do my best to tell people, yo, tell your story. Don't bite your fucking tongue.
I'll respond to that. But Jerome, I work for the school system too, and I've done junior high, elementary, and high school. And I'll tell you this, I absolutely love high school. Absolutely. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love working with high schoolers. Some of them are very disrespectful. And I've never been disrespectful back to a kid, but I will tell the first week of school, I let them know. And they kind of, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my presence. I don't know. But I tell them, I won't disrespect you if you don't disrespect me. I have a story. I know you got a story. I'm going to tell you. And I tell my story to my students off top because I want them to be able to trust me. Because a kid ain't going to tell you nothing they going through or anything like that if they can't trust you. And then don't turn around and tell somebody you understand what they going through. Because if you ain't never been through it, you can never understand it. You can empathize with them, but don't lie to them and tell them you understand. So I've had one or two be disrespectful, but when I come at them like that and I tell them what my class is about and I tell them what I'm going to do for them, those kids, like, I would do anything for them and they would do anything for me. I've taken all my classes to the movies. I tell them, if y'all could get there, I'm going to pay for y'all to get in. I've taken some of my students have been to my book signings. I've taken my students to the beach. I've done all of that because all they want is a trusting adult. And most of the time, the reason they disrespectful is because they got something going on. I decided to be that different type of teacher because everything I went through when I was going to school, my teachers always sent me to the office. They always set me in the back of the classroom. They always kicked me out the classroom. I wasn't worth it. So I make sure and I tell my students, I don't kick nobody out. I don't care how much you act a fool. I know what you want. You want to leave. You want to go to the office so they could call your parent or whoever you live with so you can go home because you want to either go to sleep or get on a game. I'm not sending you I'm not sending you out. You could sit in the back of the classroom if you choose to, and maybe you going through something and you just don't want to deal with it right now. So if you don't want to do your schoolwork today, what I do need you to do is do it tomorrow. I'm going to give you a pass today. Because I need you to be on your P's and Q's. And then another thing I don't ever do schoolwork on Mondays, ever. Because students, you don't know, because I know what I went through. And you don't know what those kids have went through coming off of the weekend. Them kids may not have had food all weekend. They may not have PG&E. They may not have cable. They may be going home being abused or neglected or used or whatever the case may be. So what we do on Mondays in my class, we sit around and talk about every single topic that there is to talk about that a teenager or an adult can go through every Monday for however many weeks school is, 9 months. Every Monday, we never do work in my class.
Odessa, I got a question for you based on you being and what you said. In your experience, whether you being in school or just in general, have you ever been able to point out somebody who was pretty much going through what you've been through by what you saw or having a conversation with them?
You mean maybe a student? I noticed a student, yes, quite a few times. So, a few ninth graders. I actually helped identify a young lady who was HT in the grooming process. I identified some kids who were trading favors for sex, and I've identified quite a few different things. And then when different teachers found out everything that I had been through, because I do speaking engagements, when they found out everything I went through, they started coming to me. I think I have a student that is going through this or going through that. Can you talk to him? And the one thing that I always did, I start talking to them. I make them raise their head up. Don't look down at me, because you need to look everyone straight in the eye because you're worthy. And then I also give them one of my books, because my book is on my life. of everything that I went through. I give them a book, and then I tell them I'm in my classroom every day during lunch. If you ever want to talk, come in. I don't leave my classroom. So come over here, talk to me, whatever you want to talk about. If you don't want to talk, we can just sit up in there. That's what I do with my students.
Hey, Pooh, I want to address the brother, man, that his comment. I went back to read it. He asked, what about, he said, we don't need to focus so much on LGBTQ. We need to focus on some of the parents. And I just want to address that because I don't focus on LGBTQ at all. Not even a little bit. Not running. What is it? What are we calling it? Human taking and LGBTQ are two different things, two totally different things. One is grooming our children to be something they're not supposed to be, and the other is taking the children. So I don't focus on LGBTQ as much as I do children being taken. They're both bad. They're both equally bad. As far as you said, some of this happens in the home with the parents, and what do we do, in those cases? I think it's up to each individual, because right now nothing's being done. So I think it's up to each individual to do what they feel needs to be done. I know what I feel needs to be done with anybody that hurts children. I know what I'm willing to do if I find out somebody is hurting a child. If you feel like calling the police and reporting that parent is the thing to do, then do it. But doing nothing is what we're doing right now. So how do you handle that? How would you want somebody to handle it if your parent was touching you? You want somebody to intervene. So these questions, they're not hard to answer, man. They just take action.
I know one thing for me, especially watching the movie, was how sick these motherfuckers are and what they would do for money. Like, children are innocent. It don't matter how bad they are. Children are fucking innocent. And the fact that you could do that to children is crazy. When you start talking about it, when it happens to women, they could be adults. You snatching up somebody who you don't even know and doing whatever to them for a fucking dollar that's not even real. It's like, what the fuck, yo? You got to really be sick in the head to do this shit. And to know that it's groups of people that's out here. A bunch of groups of motherfuckers. That's a goddamn problem. So I truly enjoy the fact that we got two people on here who are on the front line, period. And they go ahead.
Can I say something to that? Because you said you guys spoke on parents. So let's be clear that it's not always strangers that do HT. Let's be clear. I was HT'd by my mom.
Damn.
Yeah. And you can imagine what a lot of stuff encompasses that. So you had the essay, you had the DV, because I never felt worthy. So that's the type of relationships I ran into, DV relationships. Like I said earlier, I started being touched at about, I want to say 4 or 5. Hell, I'm 51. I don't remember. That was a long time ago, the ages. But started being touched, but it was those slight, that's why I say with the kids, it was them slight brushes, maybe a brush on the shoulder or maybe a rub or nothing. It was all subtle. That's why I said, if it feels funny, you need to talk about it, because the thing about it with a person like that, if you don't ever say anything or ever say that it felt funny to you or anything, you just gave them the opportunity to know, okay, you can go to the next level. It was just a shoulder this time. Maybe it's the center of your back next time. And then you don't say nothing about the center of the back because you just think it's just somebody touching you or it's a family member, right? So then they accidentally rub up against, then they accidentally rub up against your thigh or something like that, right? So all this encompassed. I experienced a lot of uncles. if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Give me just a second. I experienced a lot of uncles, but on top of all the uncles, there were also actual uncles, actual family members, actual friends who were family friends, male family friends, and females. That's all in my book, all of it. So you have to have those conversations. You have to start having those conversations early, because just think about our culture. What do our parents always tell us? What do they always tell us? They say, don't tell what goes on in my household.
Wow. Yeah.
But did you explain what you meant when you told your child that? Because you said don't tell what goes on in the household. So you didn't explain, don't tell that mama and daddy had an argument over who was going to take out the trash, or somebody didn't put the toilet top down, or mama didn't want to cook that steak that daddy made. But you said don't tell what goes on in my household. So you just shut your child up. And that was me. I didn't tell anybody anything till I was in my 20s, because I was told, don't tell what goes on in your household, because that is our culture. So you have to start having those conversations. Don't tell if Uncle Tom rub up against you and it made you feel uncomfortable. Okay, you tell that. It could be nothing, but it could be something.
But how many times have we, in especially in our culture, and I'm not saying it just happens in our culture,
Right.
in our community, but how many times have we hid that shit in our family? Like we knew.
I got a situation.
We knew Uncle Bubba would. Hey, don't let them girls be in there with him. Don't let him sit. Don't let him on his bath, and don't let him be around there. Y'all knew we knew that shit.
Yes.
But we just, like, okay, well, that's just him being him.
I have a situation I'm dealing with a young woman right now. So her grandfather touched her. Grandma knows about it. The whole family knows about it. Now the uncle is touching the nieces. And everybody said, her mama is saying, that ain't my business. We ain't getting into that. Grandma's saying, y'all need to leave him alone and all that. He would never do nothing like that. Okay, in that instance, call the police. Simple.
I sit here and think back, and of course I found out later, but there was a couple girls in elementary school that was being molested or whatever. And then something that I noticed when I started getting in my 20s and early 30s, some of the females that I was involved with told me that they were molested. It's crazy how it happens so prevalently, but it's like it's taboo. That's kind of scary to me, because now you're forcing these women to put that somewhere in their brain that they want to forget, but it could be triggered at any goddamn time, and you don't know what's going to happen, because to me it's just not fair to them. I can't speak on what happened to some dudes. I don't know, but I know females for sure who were molested, and the way I think, and maybe Odessa can speak on this, because she's actually a woman. It's like I couldn't even fathom how a woman can process that. If you've been molested and you've been touched and you've held it in for so long, to be able to block that and actually be intimate and learn how to love, I would think that's hard as hell, because once again, you never know when you can trigger to go back to that moment.
It's definitely hard. It took me a long time. And then I also, not only did it take a long time, but then when you get in the relationships, it's kind of like sometimes you self-sabotage on purpose so you don't get hurt. So like, okay, this is too good to be true, so it probably is type thing. So I'm gonna mess it up. I done been with this man maybe a little while now, but I'm gonna mess it up before things just mess up. you know, because there's no way that he could actually feel about me the way he feels about me. And I done been through everything I done been through. I'm damaged goods, right? So yeah, so it definitely took, I have a lot of failed relationships, but I would say the majority of the failed ones is because I chose to let them fail. And then also picking the wrong person, because after you in a relationship, after you've gone through some different things like I've been through, you don't always pick the right person because you looking for love in all the wrong places. That statement is true.
Yeah. And back to the molesting thing is I'm sure you remember being in middle school and you in the 6th, 7th grade or whatever, you seen the high school dudes coming to pick up the girls. That was fucking damn molestation, bro. But we didn't know at the time. We didn't think shit of it. We was like, oh well. But this nigga in 11th grade, he coming to pick up damn 7th grader from middle school, and we like, damn, this nigga driving, and she think it's cool because he driving and all this. But that's fucking molestation.
You saying, you mentioning 11th and 7th grade. Me personally, I remember.
I used to see the grown men coming onto the high school, driving in their cars, strolling through the high school at lunchtime. These is men that hang on the block, like y'all hang on the block, will come through the school to see who they could see. Because back then, when I was in school, the school campuses were all open and the bus stops.
They used to call going on tour back in the day.
It was like a tour.
They call that shit going on tour. You go to the high school.
It was like a tour.
It's funny because I sit here, this is just my feeling. At my age, it would feel awkward to me to mess with a chick that's in her early 20s because I have high school classmates with daughters that age. The shit just don't feel right. I know that everybody, to each his own, but I know for me, I couldn't do it because something just doesn't seem right. And then you start thinking back like, oh shit, that's crazy. You see it, and we've seen it, but we don't really pay any attention to it. When you think about somebody like Russell Simmons and Kimoni Simmons, she just made a video saying he was 38, she was 16. 16? Come on, man. That's fucking it's fucking sick. You muted. You muted.
I was muted on purpose so I could really say it.
I know I'm not wrong. And we've all had instances where it happened, but something like that, when you're doing that shit intentionally and consistently, you got a fucking problem. To look at, I was telling this to Jermaine the other day. They want to harp so much on motherfucking R. Kelly. Don't just jump down R. Kelly's neck. It's a bunch of these motherfuckers doing this shit.
It's a whole lot of them before he came along. What he did was not right. Nope. But let's just be clear. Some of them mamas wasn't right who was allowing it.
Daddies too. Don't leave the daddies out.
Very true.
This shit, to me, I will go on based on what Robin said. When you start talking about our community, I'm not going to sit here and say that before indoctrination and colonization and all of that certain things wasn't happening. Because no matter what, it's always some people that are just off kilter. But to be as prevalent as it is, this shit ain't right, yo. It really isn't right. Because there are stand-up men out there like myself, like Jermaine, like Kimoni, and a bunch of others that won't tolerate the shit. And we're not afraid to jump in and do something. But you have so much passive aggressiveness out there. It's scary. And more importantly, you have so many people, both male and female, that will justify the bullshit.
Let's just call it what it is. It ain't even passive aggressive. This world is too damn sensitive right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so much sensitivity going. I've never seen, and so sensitivity and entitlement.
But everything that we're talking about, you know, from the stuff happening in your family and stuff like that, all of that stuff is our doorways. It's like what they say about smoking weed or whatever. It's like it's a doorway to another drug. You know what I'm saying? So when you start, when this stuff start getting introduced to you at a young age, whether it be intentional or unintentional, whether it be by molestation, rape, or whatever the case may be, it opens up a doorway into your mind that you could be susceptible to people moving. So you have so much. So some of these girls may have so much low self-esteem that they can get fooled and cunned by some of these people, and it's easy to do that. So I mean, it's just a whole lot of stuff that go into this people moving stuff. That it ain't just about snatching them and you know riding around the car and snatching them. Some of these people are very beguiling and able to get this stuff done, just like the guy in the movie. Like when we were kids, our parents were the doorway. You had to go through our parents to get stuff to the kid. You had to go through the parent. So if they wanted to watch a particular show, it had to go through the parent. Now they got so much access because of this stuff right here.
Technology.
They got access to your kids 24 hours a day, and you have no idea what they're doing, what kind of groups they're in, how they're being influenced by some of these groups. Some of these groups may have some of those people in it, and they're just, you know, you have no idea. So what they have done is remove the parent by putting this in these kids' hands. They've removed that firewall, which used to be the parent. Now it ain't no firewall because we can get straight to your ass, straight to your kids when we want to.
And they don't have to snatch because there's so much mental health going on because of COVID. There's so many kids who are in the system. There's so many kids who in the LGBTQ community, because you turn around and you finally decide to come out, your parents oust you and put you out. There's all these different facets. You're in a broken home. You're in a one-parent home. You have a parent who is possibly on drugs, or you living with your grandma. That's what they focus on. That's who they looking for, because all that stuff rings broken. And it's easier to manipulate if you're broken, because all you looking for is somebody to love. I was in the foster system. I was in the facility. There's a facility here that, you know, like a Shalimar type facility. If you can't get placed, all of y'all go there. So I was in that facility. I was in group homes. I was in all of that. I was a latchkey kid because my mom would go on her drug binges and be gone for days at a time. And we bet not answer that door. And then on the 1st and the 15th, when welfare used to be, we didn't go to school. So this is what they start searching and looking for, all these different types of scenarios, because those are the easy targets and the easy prey.
Yeah. And you're in California. You're in Bakersfield, California, right? That's what you said.
Yes.
So I know you heard about because I made a post about this yesterday. Not yesterday. It might have been the day before yesterday. I think it was Monday. Bill 665. Assembly Bill 665, where a child age can be 12 years or older can go to a mental health professional on their own without a parent's consent or anything like that, and then they can be deemed what that professional says. They can be removed from that parent's home without their permission, without even knowing, and then get placed in a group home or a foster home or whatever. And we all know the statistics on group homes. 70% of those kids are people they're taken, so to speak. So, but they're trying to pass this bill, and it's like, so when you see these bills getting passed and all this stuff getting passed and all these people trying to change the language of what a pedo is and all this kind of stuff, it's a It's not a pedo. It's a map. So when you start seeing them change the language, you have to start looking and saying, why is this stuff happening? Why are they trying to do this stuff? And you have to look at these elected officials and give them the side eye.
Hey guys, hey, I would love to stay and rap with y'all, man, but my solar just went out, so I gotta go fix, bro. Everything on thawed in my house.
Oh man, okay, yeah, go handle that, bro. We appreciate you coming on.
Bro, I appreciate being on, sister. It was a pleasure to rap with you, man, and hear your story, man. You got a fantastic story.
Thank you.
Man, love y'all. Peace. Hopefully we can do this again, man.
Peace.
We will. Love you too, bro. So, Odessa.
Yeah.
from our original conversation, I want to thank you because obviously the conversation was okay. And I know you had to take your...
Because you know it's my bedtime. Because when you told me 8 o'clock, he told me 8 o'clock at night, and I did not know y'all was on the East Coast. And I was like, ooh, you gonna interrupt my sleep. Even though it's still interrupting my sleep because I be laying down by 5:30. But yeah, the conversation was good.
To be honest, we just really appreciate the fact you were able to take time out of your day to do this. And I'm thankful that Jermaine sent me that video about the particular subject, and how that's just the universe working.
Right.
Because by me being able to contact you and you doing this on such short notice, we definitely thank you, because
absolutely
you have a life to live and everything like that. And before we do jump off, let everybody know where they can get your book and what the title of it is.
I have 3 books. I have the book called Warrior, which is the story of my life. I have a book called I Am A through Z Affirmations for Kids, which tells them what they are before the world tells them what they're not. It gives them the alphabet, a word that matches that letter, and then an affirmation, and then it has a matching coloring book. You can find all that at www.dessperkins.com. That's DESSPERKINS.com.
Odessa, and put that in the private chat for me, and then I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay.
I love that idea per se, and what you said about the affirmation, because kids don't even know what affirmations are. They may even do them, but they don't realize how positive they can be when they're intentional.
Right. And then I'll also give you guys my website to my nonprofit that aids at-risk youth and human trafficking survivors. And that's the one I just sent to. Okay. The Des Perkins is the book. The empowerment is the nonprofit.
Okay.
Well, I hope we didn't disappoint, and you can see that we are about.
No, you didn't, because I ain't gonna lie. You want me to keep it real with you? Because y'all said keep it real. I was skeptical. I was skeptical, and you know what? You could imagine why I was like, oh God, when you sent me that clip, I was like, ooh, they be cussing, they doing all this. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know how this gonna go, but it was good, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
And to be honest with you, like I'm in Jersey right now, but I live in Douglasville, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. And Maine, he lives in South Carolina. If you're ever in the area, feel free to hit us up, because we need more physical interaction also, because it's the energy. Mm-hmm. Something I've been saying for a while, I just haven't figured out a date to do it. I think that we need to come up with a date, and everybody goes outside and they walk outside barefoot and ground, and we all do the same affirmation. Or like that, to me, is where the energy really flows.
I hope you ain't talking during the summer, because California hot in the summer.
Hey, down here too, South Carolina too.
True. We dealing with 115 right now.
Oh no, we ain't doing that.
Yeah, we dealing with 115 right now.
Well, it's a good thing. good thing you got that skin on you, so at least you know that you're safe. I know you don't want to go out there hot as hell, but at least you know you good. But when we start doing things like that intentionally, that's where things start to change. The fact that you have boots on the ground, the fact that Kimoni has boots on the ground, that's when things change. It's not a matter of a person just talking. It's not a matter of a person, like you said, they just pulling out their phones. Because me and Jermaine have talked about this plenty of times. There's no way that what's my man name that got the dude with his knee on his neck? What the guy that died or whatever?
George Floyd.
There's no way that would have happened if I was standing there. I'm not going to allow this motherfucker to have his knee on that man's neck. Because, well, how could I do that if I'm a man? No, I can't record that shit. If they shoot me, they're going to have to do that shit, because if more people stood up, things wouldn't be happening. If more people their mouths, things wouldn't be happening the way that they do. Everybody wants to mind their own business now. I get that to a certain extent, but goddamn, if it's blatant like that, get the fuck out of here. And like the saying goes, they're hiding things in plain sight. It's right in our face, and people aren't accepting. That's not just a fucking movie. That's not just a commercial. That's not. They're telling you what's going on. What are you going to do?
They're telling you, it's what you gonna do about it. And then you always got the people that say, I'm only one person, I don't matter. No, you one person, but if you one person and then this person cares too, now you two. And then if your homegirl care, now you three. So it's not just, you can't keep just saying I'm just one person, and people can't keep saying my vote don't matter, so they don't go vote, even though they didn't even vote. You can't say that, because we got this man who's sitting here right now who's the chairman, who says he's going to block this again, but he's voted in. He was voted in. And now he running for city council in Los Angeles, gonna get voted in. But he don't care nothing about kids, because he just blocked this. Kids being HT.
Miss Perkins, based on the question that you just said, and I know you hear this all the time, so when you gonna run?
I am not.
See,
I vote. I know I vote all day long. I uses my political power. I vote all the time. But everybody, and I ain't even finna lie to you right now, I've had at least 20 people tell me I should run for something. No, because my mouth ain't right.
Good. That's what they need.
No, you don't understand. They would walk me in handcuffs out the Capitol, because my mouth ain't, I can't. I can't. My mouth, even the senator told me, she said, it's the look that you be given. We don't know which way you're gonna go. Because when I get focused, no. I couldn't even be a wife to a senator, because I'd be done cussed him out too.
I would tell you, based on what you said, you're that adamant against it. You need some of the young people that you know. You need to start grooming them to do it, or somebody might be in their 20s, because we need more voices out there. Like we need more people in power, even though we understand how the system is rigged, and we get all of that. But we need more unapologetic people in office that will speak what needs to be said. Won't be so passive aggressive and that's fucking wrong. Fuck out of here.
No, I'm not passive aggressive. I'm just aggressive.
I'm the same exact way. But we wanna thank you. I'm gonna figure out how to do it, because it's gonna be so much stuff on my shirt. I play in golf tournaments and everything like that. I'm gonna make sure that I put your website on the back of my shirt when we're playing these golf tournaments. I gotta go to Oregon in August, and I'm gonna. I can't do both. Which one of those sites would you want on the back?
I want people to buy my book. I feel like both of them. Well, I'll tell you this. Whichever one you want to put on, because both of them are equally as important.
I think what I'll do the empowerment DP, because it's the word. It's the other one is just, it's your name. To do the word, I think people say, what is that? So
Okay.
when I'll direct them to it, mention the subject matter, and let them know they need to go get that book. Even though it's gonna be a bunch of men, it doesn't really matter because this subject is the subject. And
Right.
when I do it, I'm gonna send you a picture so you can. And
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
put it,
so I could call you out if you really don't do it. You know that
yeah.
aggressive part. No, I'm just playing.
That's all good. But this gives me more incentive to play well, and basically when I'm not gonna say if, when I win, and I'm taking pictures and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's just more exposure, and that's
All right.
what I want, because that for me is the objective with how this is going. But you're welcome to come on anytime you want. Like, seriously,
Thank you.
let us know. It's Wednesdays at 8 Eastern Standard Time or whatever. If you if you have people who want to come on to speak on something like that, let us know, because our objective is always to put the content out that people need. Like,
Okay.
not necessarily what people want. People might
Right.
need shit. So that is our objective. So please, like,
All
spread
right.
the word. I know you're in Cali or whatever, but you're part of the family now, and I hope we the same way with you.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I'm gonna say that. Don't forget, I'm gonna say that picture as soon as I get the shirts made.
All right. Thank you. I can't
Right.
wait to see this shirt. And then I might say, send me one. Shh. I might say, send me one.
Side note, because you're an educator.
Yes.
I have a friend named April Prayer. She's a criminal defense attorney out in Chicago. She created a board game that teaches kids how to interact with cops.
Oh,
So-
I like that.
So
Send me that link, because I want to buy one.
I'm gonna send it to you. And what I'll do is I'll connect y'all on Facebook, so that way you can see the page and everything like that. And that
Okay.
that way y'all could communicate. April, that's my girl. Like, she another sister or whatever. And I think y'all will love each other. Hands down.
All right. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Time for bed.
But-
Good night, guys.
Night. For everybody out there, we appreciate y'all jumping on. Please spread the word. As we always say, it's about videos going viral that really has some type of significance. And this is one of them, because this type of subject needs to be talked about. And we want to thank Odessa and Kimoni for coming on or whatever. We're about to end the show. It's almost 10 o'clock or whatever. But we still want to put it out there. If anybody wants to come on and maybe they have a story real quick, you want to tell your story real quick, it's not a problem. Just send us a message or whatever, saying, yeah, I want to say something. You're more than welcome, because this is how we have to do. We have to give people a voice, because most people feel like they're voice. If not, even if it's next week, the show could be about whatever. If you still want to tell your story, it is not a problem. But the biggest thing about this is, please just don't be quiet. Tell somebody. Figure out, and not gonna say figure out, but pay attention to body language and stuff like that, because it's some kids out here that's really going through it. You got any last words, Holmes, before we end the night?
Nope, I'm like her. I'm sleepy. It's bedtime.
I gotta get ready to roll out too, but as usual, we appreciate y'all. We can't thank y'all enough for the support, and we're gonna keep it going. So we will see y'all next week, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, spread the word. Only we can save us, because we're the only people that care about each other. We can't count on anybody else to do it. So deuces, everybody, y'all have a great night.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.